All right, surface area of prisms and cylinders. So we have these 3D shapes, and we're going to find the area of the entire outside of that shape. Pretend like you're painting it or something. That's where it would come into play, needing to know all of that area. So let's go ahead and dive into the vocab here. So you know a prism, it's a solid, it's polyhedron. Here's a prism right here. This is a triangular prism. Notice it has two bases, that's why it is a prism. So let's talk about bases. I just told you. So there are two parallel bases. Two parallel bases, okay? So in the picture here, there's a blue one and a blue one. There's two parallel bases. You also can see here, this is called a net. This is when we unfold the prism. What does it look like? So those are the two bases right there. Lateral faces, okay, basically these are the sides of the prism, the sides of the prism, okay? Don't include the base, so no bases. So lateral faces are the sides of the prism. So here, in orangey or yellowy color, those are the lateral faces, and you can kind of see here, it's all the way around this one. The lateral area would be the area of those sides. So the area of those sides. So the area of the lateral faces. And then the height, that would be the distance from base to base. The distance from base to base. Okay? So here, the height, base to base. Here, the height, base to base. And it seems like really silly, like people should know what the height is, but I have a lot of people that will do really weird things when my prism is tipped over, like as if someone shoved it over. People will do really weird stuff with the height. So just remember, it's from base to base. So let's move on to surface area. So surface area of a prism, we get a couple formulas here for you. LA stands for lateral area. So to find the lateral area, let's go back up to this picture right here, this net. To find the lateral area, if you took the perimeter of the base, notice that this comes from this triangle right here. Okay, if I lay this triangle out flat, you get this long line right here. If I do that times the height, I'll have this whole entire area here. So to find lateral area, take the perimeter of the base times the height. The perimeter of the base times the height. And then to find surface area, well, it's just this lateral area plus base plus base. So there's two bases. Okay, so lateral area plus the two bases. All right, let's use that down here. Find each of the following: base, lateral area, and the surface area. So let's look at number one. First, let's talk about the base. Right here is your base. And down here, or over here, is your height. So if we're going to find the area of the base, it's going to be base times height of the base. I know that sounds real weird, but it's base times height of this blue little rectangle here. So this would be 9 times 7, and if you pop that up into your calculator, you'll get 63 feet square. So we've got the area of the base. Now they also want to know what is the lateral area. So the lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height. Well, we got to find the perimeter first, right? So using this blue base right here, and I like to just put a little arrow and then work out my perimeter, it would be 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7, right? Because you want to go all the way around. So 9 plus 7 plus 9 plus 7. And if I add all of that up, I end up getting 32. So you're going to have to find your perimeter first. Now that I know that, I can put the 32 right here. So lateral area will equal 32 times the height. We'll look at your picture, find your height. Your height here is 14. So 32 times 14. And if you put that into your calculator, you're going to get 448 feet square. Okay? So now we have lateral area. So let's pause here for a moment. Notice all the formulas we're using. This combines everything that you've learned so far. So you have to find the area of the base first. Then you have to find the perimeter of the base, which was 32. And then you can find your lateral area, which is the perimeter, which we found was 32, times the height of the entire prism, which is 14. All right, and then the last thing we have to do is surface area, which is lateral area plus the two bases. So for surface area, we have lateral area plus 2 bases. Now, the nice thing is we already have all this information. What's your lateral area? You just found it, 448. Plus 2 times the bases. Well, what was your base? You found that too. It was 63. And then I would type that right into the calculator, so my full surface area is going to be 574 feet squared. 574 feet squared. There we go. What I'm going to have you guys do is number 2 for a class. You could pause it now and do it. You could wait to the end and go back and do it all at once. That's fine too. Whatever floats your boat, just have that done and in class whenever I see you. So let's talk about number 3. Now that is a prism, and a lot of people like to call it a pyramid. Well, probably because of the triangle, right? But let's look at what's going on here. Remember that the bases are parallel to each other. So if we look at this picture here, and I'm going to use a highlighter, this and this, these two guys are parallel to each other. Now, do you notice that it's not sitting on its base? That's because somebody came by and rudely knocked it over. Okay, so it's knocked over onto one of its lateral bases. So just be very careful. Notice that the bases are highlighted there. So if I label this, this is actually our height because it's knocked over. And then we have this 12 here, this 5 here, and what's this right here, this length? Well, it's 13. Look across from it. They've already labeled it as 13. So now we can start diving into work out all this problem. So the base here is a triangle. So it's 0.5 times base times height of the blue base. So the base of this would be 12, and the height of that blue triangle is 5. All right, so if you type all of that into your calculator, 0.5 times 12 times 5, you'll get 30 meters squared. Okay, just be very careful and locate your base first. Then we have lateral area, which is perimeter times height. Well, we don't know the perimeter yet, so let's find it. Look at your blue triangle here. It's going to be 12 plus 5 plus that 13 we transferred over. So if we add 12 plus 5 plus 13, we also get 30 for this. So now, once we have the 30, we can substitute it in for the perimeter. So the lateral area is going to be 30 times the 3, which is going to be 90 meters squared. So there's our lateral area. The last thing they need us to find is surface area. So the surface area of the entire thing is lateral area plus, think about it, how many bases? 2, because it's a prism, so 2 bases. So our surface area is, well, what did we find for our lateral area? 90. Plus 2 times, what do we find for our base? 30. So then 90 plus 2 times 30 is going to give me 150 meters square. Now I know this is a lot of information today. So remember, you can pause it or you can rewind it, you can rewatch it. I highly recommend just watching it the first time through and then going through a second time and writing everything down. That's just the way I learn. I don't know if that'll help you or not, but that's just how I do it. All right, so let's keep on going. We got the surface area of those done. Let's see what's here. Okay, now we're going to talk about a cylinder. It's a solid. It's similar to a prism, but it's not a polyhedron because of the curves. How is it similar to a prism? Well, it's similar to a prism because it has 2 bases, right? It has 2 bases on it, so that makes it similar to a prism. So that's why we have it in this section. All right, but the base is a little different, though, because a cylinder, the base will always be a circle. And let's think about our circle formulas. To find the area of a circle, it's pi r squared. And what about a perimeter of a circle? The perimeter of a circle has a special name, circumference. And circumference is 2 pi r. We'll be using those, so make sure you jot those down. All right, height is still the same. It's the distance from base to base. Distance from base to base. Okay? And the lateral area here is going to be the exact same thing. If I take this circle and this distance right here, if I unfurl it, if I take it apart, it will be this length right here, okay? So the perimeter of that circle is this right here. Think about it. If I put this back together, it would snug right up next to that, right? Well, that times this will give me my lateral area. And if that's your circumference and that's your height, That's what lateral area is going to be. So let me say that again. So the lateral area is going to be the perimeter of the circle times the height. However, we're dealing with a circle, right? So the lateral area would basically be the circumference, because that's the special name for perimeter, times the height. Well, what's the circumference of a circle? 2 pi r. We wrote it right above there. So 2 pi r times height. So that's what we're going to use for our lateral area. And you'll see I wrote it down here too. So if lateral area is perimeter times height, so it must be 2 pi r, because that's perimeter or surface area. I'm sorry, that's perimeter or circumference times height. Look at this. Exactly the same. Exactly the exact same thing there. So that'll make it easier on us. We'll have to learn less things. So let's look at number 4. On number 4, they've given you a diameter, but you're going to be interested in finding the radius. And what's the radius here? 11 centimeters. Okay, now that we have that, we can go ahead and dive in and find our base. So the base here is a circle, so we're going to use pi r squared. And we're going to go ahead and we get to round to the nearest whole number. So we're going to use 3.14 times 11 squared. Well, what is 11 squared? 121. So 3.14 times 121. So 3.14 times 121, when I type it into my calculator here, gives me 379.94. But they said round to the nearest whole number. So this 9 is going to bump this up, and we're going to have 380 centimeters square. Okay, well now let's move on to lateral area. So lateral area is perimeter times height. But in this situation, our perimeter is the circumference. And the formula for circumference is 2 pi r. So 2 pi r times the height. We're going to substitute our numbers in. So pi is 3.14, and the radius here is 11, and the height is 14. And when I type that all into the calculator, you're going to get 967.12. So 967.12. But they want you to round to the nearest whole number. Well, this is a 1. So we're going to keep it at 967 centimeters square. Just like that. And then lastly, we have to find surface area, and we're super lucky because that's the same formula as the front, because there are 2 bases. So all we have to do is write down what our lateral area is, and we just found it. It was 967, plus we have to add 2 times the base, and we found that 2 earlier. It was 380. And once we type that into the calculator and hit enter, our surface area is going to be 1,727 centimeters square. Now I know I kind of went through that quickly, so you can always rewind and rewatch it, okay, if you're not understanding. You can always pause it too while I'm talking to catch up. I would like you to try 5 and try 6 for class, so have those done when you come in, and if you get confused, you can go back and rewatch how I did number 4, especially for number 6, because number 4 and number 6 are super similar. All right, I will see you in class. Bring those problems all done, and we will talk then. Have a wonderful day.